I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day today. I forgot to bring my mic once again. We got a couple of things to talk about for everybody that don't know. We down here at the Diddy Trial. We are covering the Diddy Trial. The judge has finally given the final instructions to the jury. The jury is now going to go out and they're going to make their deliberations. A couple of things I want to say about the instructions that everybody don't get. First is this. I know there are a lot of individuals who do the whole gossip column shit. I know they heard what the judge said, they gotta be pissed. Once again, the judge and the jury, they're not allowed to go off of who you like and who you don't like. They're not allowed to go off of rumors and innuendo. They're not allowed to go off of that type of thing. You're not allowed to go and be a jury and say you're gonna vote a certain way because we all hate that guy. We don't care he's innocent. We just all hate him. You're not really allowed to go do that. What up, Straight Bowler? You're not allowed to go do that. And that's why I keep trying to explain that, when we're dealing with hood politics, one of the problems that destroys our community is that people consistently, they gravitate to shit that don't make no sense. They'll just believe things because you don't like that guy. They'll just believe things because that person made up a rumor. And the things that, and it's just not fair. It's just not fair to just believe shit because somebody else made up a good rumor that you think the rumor's funny. So now that's just not fair, and that's not the way the court operates. And that's why often when you have the gossip columnists who, no hate. You obviously, there's a lane. There's people that enjoy the work. So I'm not hating. I don't want that to be seen. I don't want it to come off that way. But fixed around, emotions, and the court has to go off of facts. So that's why the gossip columnists generally get hurt. That's why TMZ get it wrong a lot. Shout out to TMZ, no hate. But that's why there's a lot of these, they get it wrong a lot because they base everything off of feelings and emotions. And depending on who in their community is commenting is depending on where they're going with their feelings and emotions at that moment. So I want to say a couple of things that I think was interesting when the judge gave the instructions to the jury, and I think that we have to keep this in mind. So the judge specifically made a point to say, when you have the sex trafficking charge, the person doesn't have to go there with the prostitution charge or the sex trafficking with the intended purpose of the sex trafficking of having sex before they went to wherever the area is that they're going. There doesn't have to be an agreed upon message. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there doesn't have to be something that we all agreed upon. You got there, and now you're there, and you're getting paid, so now the sex is happening. That's just fine, and that falls inside of the sex trafficking and prostitution. So says the judge. And I think that that's important because one of the main aspects that it seemed like the prosecution kept trying to say is that there was no actual text talking about these were prostitutes. There were no actual indication. There's no moment where these people spoke and talked and where they said that this is what it was. So I think that was particularly interesting that the judge made that delineation between, or should I say, made that point to the jury that you don't have to already have had a conversation saying this is for prostitution, this sex is for money, that you could have just been paying them for whatever they're paying for, and you could have decided on all of this in the morning. It didn't have to be a thing. So that's one thing I found that was interesting that might not necessarily help Diddy. Here goes another thing that I found that was interesting that might actually benefit Diddy. It might actually benefit him. And that was the judge made a point What up, AP? Salute. We'll talk about that in one moment. The judge made a point. AP asked me, what's my prediction? The judge made a point to say that if somebody is high, or pardon me, if somebody basically has a drug problem, if they're inebriated through the alcohol or drugs in any way, that you can't really blame them for being the culprit. You can't initially. So there's a content creator out here. Hold on, let me tell you about this. I'll get back to that. And the police is constantly watching this dude. I don't even know if he knows he's being watched. When he goes into the building, they got the police following him around. He's outside. They keep the police following him around. He's a nuisance guy. He was in here trying to argue with me the other day. He a nuisance streamer. You know those people that go out in the public and they trying to create arguments and beef and all this other stupid shit that don't make no sense. So everywhere he goes, the police is constantly watching this dude. It's like, how do you expect, how long do you think you're going to have a career doing something like this if you can't get along with the people who work in your atmosphere? Like, you got to get along with the people who's going to be working in the buildings and the places where you're going to be working to a certain degree. Anyway, so you got everybody around him right now. There's a little bit of a hoopla. He's interviewing one of the TMZ guys, who I'm always find suspect. I've met a couple of those dudes before. Either they're super cool or they're douchebags. There's no in the middle, by the way. They all look like they're in the middle, by the way. But they're either super cool or they're douchebags. All the TMZ guys I've met personally. Like, super cool. Or they're just douchebags, in any regard. So the thing that is probably going to help Diddy. So I want to say this and I want to be clear. The judge basically said that you can be high or drunk and be engaging in certain criminal activities and not be held liable. And I think that this is interesting. Pointing out that Diddy is a drug addict. Like, he's successful and we know about that were incorporated into different, and they were his ideas and they were genius. And we know this to be a fact. Just so we can be clear. But that doesn't change the aspect of him having a possible drug problem. And I think that that's something that the defense should have really been harping on. I think that that's a point that the defense should have been making sure it never died. Our client has a drug problem. He's not a bad guy. All of these people involved in this situation, they're all drug addicts. They all was getting high. They all are drug addicts. I think that changes the dynamic of what we're talking about. I think what that does is that creates a situation where now, like I said before, we're not talking about victims as much as we're talking about, what you want to say if you're the defense is that all of these guys are part of the conspiracy, because they are the conspiracy. I can't be conspiring against other people in the conspiracy and we're all conspiring for the same thing, right? So I think that that's an argument that the defense should have been making. They were not necessarily making that argument. Because right now, I believe that the judge actually helps that argument when he says that you can be an individual who's high and be committing a crime, but you not be in basically in control of this crime that you're committing. You shouldn't be held liable. That's just my opinion. But I did tell y'all that like crazy. I mentioned that numerous times. I kept mentioning it. I mentioned that numerous times. So the fact that the judge just said that backs up what I said. Once again, how many times have we covered trials and I'm hitting the nail on the head? Let me get back to doing it. Really got to start getting back to covering these trials. But how many times have I covered a trial and hit the nail on the head? I said that before. One of the things that they should have did was everybody should have been a co-defendant. Then they say, we give you the 5 crimes that you're high on, you cannot be held liable for. The judges clearly said that and the crimes that they were mentioned were the crimes that he's currently being charged with. Those are the crimes that was mentioned, specific. So once again, Jack Frost, nail on head. Don't know what to tell you. But I think the defense did a really good job. Somebody asked me a question. They said, which way do I think it's going to go? I don't really like giving y'all predictions too much. You already know what it is over here. But I will tell you about what I observed while I was in the courtroom. Somebody just said plead out. Like they're going to plead him out now after the whole trial is over. This is what I'm talking about. Now, do I think the prosecution should think that they're in so much trouble that they need to go figure something out? No, I don't think. I don't think that the prosecution is in that much trouble. I do not think the prosecution needs to go figure something out. At all. I think that they have just as good of a chance of finding him guilty as they have of him being found not guilty. I think it's just good of a chance. I don't think that in no way, shape, or form should the prosecution be concerned or worried. Now, with that also being said, if the prosecution did bring the defense something, I don't necessarily think the defense should take it. Because as I said, I think the defense got the same amount of ability to be able to get him off on these charges. I don't think the defense should accept. Just being honest with you. At this point, if the prosecution shows up with any kind of deal, did he go home? If they show up with any kind of deal, I think that the prosecuting attorneys good. Just my opinion. That's DJ. I think the prosecuting attorneys were not good. Just to be honest with you, I didn't see the pre-trial, so I can't tell you. But it seemed to me like the prosecuting attorneys just fumbled the ball. They did a lot of things that I would just suffer that they do not if they wanted to get an actual conviction. They did a lot of things that I thought was anti-productive. Coming in or going out of the building. I can go now. So his sons and everybody showed up today. And for anybody that think that they all like douchebags, they not. I had a conversation with a couple of the sons. Like it was a quick conversation. I really wasn't asking much and talking about nothing. But they're not douchebags, by the way. I mean, they weren't douchebags when I met them. You know, and I didn't meet the King Combs dude. I met a couple of the other ones. Wasn't douchebags. It was pretty cool. And I know I don't get along with everybody. I'm a specific type. Because I just tell you right what I think, and sometimes by accident. A lot of people get pissed off. I don't be doing it on purpose. We're looking. Reception is not great out here. But prediction, I'm assuming he's gonna get found guilty of a lesser charge. I don't think he's gonna be found guilty on none of the big charges. I don't really see how you can find him guilty of sex trafficking unless like they're really hitting on a couple of the points that I was making previously. I just don't see how you could get him, because once again, and this is another thing, and this is something that I think the defense should have did. The defense should have made it look like they were all friends, because if they were all friends, then there's nothing wrong with him paying for them to go over here, paying for them to go over there. And I think that the defense didn't hit that home enough. That maybe we did find these people on a website, but now, you know, we've been with each other X amount of time. you know, now we're friends. This is a friendly encounter. These are my friends. This is just what we just happen to have sex parties together. We're swingers, but this is my friend. And I think that, you know, the prosecution should have definitely looked, pardon me, the defense should have definitely looked at it at that aspect. I think that there's just a lot of different ways that they could have had this conversation. Hello. I think there's a lot of different ways they could have had this conversation that they just didn't. I think that that's a very valid point that you can make. He go to homie. He just got finished talking with these guys. What's up, my brother? How you doing today? He just got talking. That's the TMZ guy, I believe. So, so that's what I believe. Just keeping it a stack.
5 different things, special circumstances. It's like 15 different decisions.
So just as far as with the I was listening to what he was saying. Just as far as with the defense, I think that they could have just did I think the prosecution could have did a lot better job. And just a lot better job. I'm just being honest with you. I think another place where the defense could have shored it up, just so we can be clear. These are our friends. We go on vacations. We have sex parties together. Just admit it. It is what it is. This is what we do. I'm just saying. Once you say that, and once that becomes a thing, now a lot of these charges that they trying to hit Diddy with, it go right out the window. You just be honest. Look, we do sex parties. It is what it is. We do sex parties. It is what it is. I don't do sex parties. Also, don't invite me to any. I'm not on that type of time. But we do sex parties. We like getting drunk. We like getting high. We drug addicts. And I think that's what Diddy's team should have just leaned right into. All the way. Lean right into that. We drug addicts. We get high. We have sex together. It is what it is. Diddy's had this lifestyle for quite some years now. There's other individuals that you will find in the entertainment industry, probably not necessarily in the music industry specifically, but in the entertainment world, and this is just one of the lifestyles that we live by. We live in hotels. It is what it is. It is what it is. Because I think that once the defense says that, and once the defense leans on that, I think you open up the whole avenue for that this is just friends doing friendship. Fucking cigarettes, yo. 8 cigarettes, and I gotta feel like I smell the cigarette like for the next 20, 30 minutes. So I hate cigarettes. I'm smelling the cigarette one time, I'm smelling it now for the next 20, 30 minutes. And then he would go. Okay. So I don't know. It is what it is. I think that Diddy is definitely in this situation. I saw his son got antsy and took his coat off at a certain part, right? For everybody that don't know, in the courtroom, they keep it chilly, right? They don't want nobody going to sleep. They keep it chilly, like a hospital chilly. You understand? Sometimes cold, though. They keep it chilly. They keep the AC, hello. They keep the AC banging, just so we can be chilly. It's chilly. He took his coat off. Like, what the fuck?
That would be wild.
That was weed. I don't really care about that, but that cigarette smoke, I can't stand that. I feel like I'm smelling it now for the next like 20, 30 minutes. That should be pissed off. Services. Everybody down here, man. It's everybody like, yo, what you think the verdict is gonna be? But it's like, let's just be honest. All of the things, copy, salute. Let's just be honest. All of the things they've been accusing Mofo of, he did it. It's just whether he did it in the capacity of a criminal atmosphere. That's it. That's it. Hello. All of the things they accused him of, he did. It's just a matter of if he did it in the criminal atmosphere. That's it. He did all of the things. He booked hotel rooms with dudes went to and had sex with his girlfriend. It happened. He bought drugs that they didn't got high off of. It happened. He booked flights to go to different cities. It happened. The only thing that matters is if any of this was done in the capacity of a criminal organization or a criminal atmosphere. That's it. All of the things he's being accused of happened. That's it. This is the difference between having a good lawyer and going to jail. Because I'm letting you know right now, if he had a bad lawyer, he would have a chance in hell. There would be no chance. There would be zero chances for him. I promise you. If his lawyer was trash, he might have just not even to just pled guilty. He might have just packed his bags and shipped them. Just shipped them to the penitentiary. Like, yo, so which one I'm gonna be staying at? He's guilty. Well, not guilty. All of the things that they were accusing him of, he's actually done. The only question is did he do any of these things in the furtherance of a criminal organization or in the furtherance of a crime? That's it. There's zero other questions. This is why you gotta get a good lawyer. This is why you gotta get a good lawyer. This is why you can't have an okie doke lawyer. This is why. This is why when the court be like, hello. I can't tell if that was Neek at Night or not. I don't think so though, because Neek at Night is thick as shit. I don't think that was her though. I can't tell people apart. Yeah, I got a bad. I can't really tell people apart sometimes. I know I be seeing people and shit, and they be wondering why I don't say what's up to them. It's because I can't tell if I know you or not. That really just be it. It really be that. Only that. Just so we can be clear. Yeah, Nika at Night was out here. She was thick as shit. She's pretty tall. Not my type, but like she's pretty. They got like a lot of wild cards. I think the fact that I can do that, and I'm starting to think nobody else can do that. Look at people and think that they're attractive but not want to sleep with them or not want to be with them. Like, can other people do that? Or is this is like something that I do and I'm not supposed to be doing it? Because I'm starting to think I'm not supposed to be doing it. And then I can literally look at somebody and be like, oh, they're attractive, and not even think about sleeping with them one time. I promise you. That is dumb. She had a whole wedding ring on her finger though. And I was like, sheesh. Yeah, but he's guilty. Not guilty, pardon me. He's done everything that they're accusing him of doing. The only question is if it was done in the furtherance of a criminal, in furtherance of a crime. That's literally the only question. Whether you think this was in the furtherance of a crime, or whether you think that this dude just a freak. And I think that there's a good argument for either. I think there's a good argument that could be just a freak. He likes doing all types of nasty things, seeing nasty things done. And just like there's an argument of, well, he was creating a criminal atmosphere. He was beguiling people into becoming unwittingly a part of this criminal organization he had going on that dealt in drugs and sex. I guess there's an argument for that also. There could definitely be arguments made for these things. So I guess it goes either way. It's whichever side of the you want to tell the people what you think about. I'm not gonna grill you, fam. You can have whatever your opinion is. You good?
What do you think?
Ask a question. Ask a question about anything.
What you think about what charges they brought up with?
Well, the things that they're saying he did, he actually did. The question is if you consider it to be a crime.
Yeah.
Because he actually did pay for the tickets, right?
Yeah,
He actually did pay for the hotel rooms, right? He actually did get the drugs.
He flew them over.
All of the things. Only question is, what did he do it in the furtherance of a crime? That's it. There's zero other questions.
Me personally, if you have it there,
Nothing.
I feel he's guilty.
You can have whatever feeling. I interview people that feel he's guilty. I interview people that feel he's innocent.
And the only reason why I say he's guilty because he had all that as a man of power. Let them use all that.
So you feel like without him, none of this is possible.
If he would have not contributed to all that, he would not have been able to.
So you think
but because he got involved, he wanted to do it, he wanted to be there, he wanted all these girls, he got caught in it.
That's a good argument.
You know, and if you had the key to the city and you had all these nine, endorsements and you had everything going for you, why would you stick yourself there? Go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And do your life and live for your family, live for your kids. I mean, look at what a beautiful family he has out there. And you come and you put yourself and make your family and live for your family.
Making great points.
So I think he deserves a little punishment so he could wake up and say, look what I had, maybe this will refreshing.
But not go away for 30 years.
Not 30. Give him 10 years, 15 years.
That's a long time, like 60 now.
Well, he's 50. He's 50, he'll be 60 in 10. He'll be 65 in 15.
Yeah.
So there you go. Unless they prove them, if they prove they're acquittal, leave to Turks, live in the island, get away from all this, start your life all over, and then slowly come down to New York and start putting your name back up there. And maybe everybody will see you again. Oh, Puff Daddy's back, and he'll bring your popularity back up. Because he was the man who was on top of the hip hop, bro. You know what I'm saying? He was on top. And nobody was touching you.
That's a fact.
So,
Brother.
what do you do?
Yeah. Not anything else you want to do?
I'm good.
Yo, that was great. Yo, you thought I was bullshitting? I was bullshitting. I keep telling people, man, you can say what you want to say. I'm not on no anti this guy. I'm not on no anti that guy. We just do whatever the facts are, and you got the right to state your opinion. Right? Yeah, you got the right to state your opinion. We just do what the facts are, man. I'm not for nobody. I'm not out here talking about lock 'em up. I'm not out here talking about free 'em. I'm not doing any of those things. You can have whatever perspective you want to have, whatever opinion you want to have. You can have it. But not, he made a good point. And the actual point he was making, whether he knows he was making it or not, was none of this was possible without Diddy involved. So that's the argument he was actually making, whether he realized it. I don't know if he realized it. That's the argument he was actually making. None of this would have been possible without Diddy. So therefore, if it's seen as a criminal organization, then he has to be held accountable. But I don't know. I think it's whether you see this as a criminal organization or not. Whether you see this as people committing crimes or whether you see this as people having fun. I think there's an argument that could be made for either. I think the same argument could be made that, you know, Diddy lived a different lifestyle. Because this is another thing that I try to explain to people and people don't get. When I be trying to tell y'all, I just talk about it from the aspect of content creators. And you these content creators out here that always like doing hate. Y'all remove yourselves from being able to even be in certain rooms. Because certain people don't want certain energy around them. You understand what I'm saying? So imagine being somebody with 1 million skeletons in your closet, right? And then you got this nuisance content creator trying to interview you or trying to be friendly with you. And all you see them doing is doing hate on everybody they get in the conversation with, except for the couple of people they like. It's a totally different, it's a different atmosphere. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody don't got time for that, man. That's why I keep trying to explain it to them. People simply don't have time for a lot of these things. So Diddy is in a situation. I think an argument could be made that the situation doesn't exist without Diddy. I also think the argument could be made that those was Diddy friends and he was trying to make them happy. So it's just who goes into court and has the best linguistic skills, who's the best orator, who has the biggest imagination. That's what a lot of this being a lawyer is. Knowing the law and then understanding how to talk the law. That's what most of this is. You know, most people don't know what they talk about. They don't know the law. Why do you think there's so many people that are lawyers now starting to do content creation? Because they figured out that there's a lot of people doing content creation that know shit about the law. A lot of people that's doing content creation know nothing about the law. Over the last about 5 years, 6 years, I met at least 6 or 7 people that were lawyers that just decided to stop doing that and now they do nothing. At least 6 or 7. Now they do content creation. Fam, can you do me a favor? I'm really impartial to cigarettes. Can you please not stay here? How you doing today?
Good.
Excellent.
Diddy line last night. You want to hear the story?
Yeah, you can give me the story. I need that cigarette.
So basically,
I don't smoke. I need the cigarette to go out. The cigarette bother me. You can come talk though. Nah, you good. Don't worry about it. How do you know? Somebody came on. Somebody probably told him to come over here and smoke a cigarette now. Remember, you got people out here that keep trying to tell people that I'm crazy and I'm gonna do all of this wild shit. So they constantly just get people to come over here and do weirdo shit to me all day. Then when I don't do nothing, they say, let's go get another person. So my whole life is just me walking around with weirdo people doing weirdo shit to me trying to get me to do something, and I'm not. I'm just a regular person. It's bugs. Y'all be here with me a lot of the times. It's not stopped. It's just bugs. 9 times out of 10, somebody just told him to come over here and do that. In any regard. Yadi said he's on the way. Sit and wait. I don't expect there to be a Wednesday, probably the soonest. I expect the verdict to be back. Maybe Wednesday, the soonest. But I told y'all last week I don't expect for it to go past Thursday. But I say Wednesday will probably be the soonest. Because I 100% don't expect for them to come back with a verdict today. Even if they completely figured it out. Like they've already come to a consensus. I don't feel like they're going to come back with a verdict today. And just because I don't feel like they're going to come back with a verdict tomorrow. You understand? So I expect for Wednesday, you give them 2 nights to sleep on it. Wednesday or Thursday, I expect for it to be a verdict. Might be soon, but I expect Wednesday or Thursday. I don't expect Gotti better hurry up. I'm literally just staying online to say pulling up. 30-something minutes in. Any questions y'all want to ask me? Put it in the chat. It's like everybody wants to be on everybody else's show, but I don't. I think I'm doing this wrong. Well, I'm doing it right, just so we can be clear. But I think since I don't really care for other people's approval and shit like that, I really need to I don't really care about a lot of this shit. They don't know if they can come up to me and talk to me. They can come talk to me. Didn't she look like Miss Straightway? Every time I see her, I think that's Miss Straightway, but that's not Miss Straightway, right? I told you I'm like terrible at recognizing people and faces. Like I'm terrible at it. So once again, if I know you and I see you somewhere and I don't say nothing, I promise you, I know like so many people. I just don't know that I know you. I promise you that. But sometimes I just don't know if we cool. Like I might recognize you and be like, nah, I know that motherfucker. I just don't know where I know him from. We might not be cool. All right, I'm about to get off the jack. We might come back with another live soon. Not really doing nothing. We're not really talking. Just letting y'all see what's going on out here. We might come back with a live soon. Holla back at y'all. I'm out.